Hey guys, welcome back to Heart Breathings. Today we are going to talk about a topic that is very near and dear to my heart, which is how I organize my time as a writer. So the reason this is something that is really near and dear to my heart is that when I first started self-publishing, I was really just thinking, I want to write. And it was all that really mattered to me. And up until that point, that had been really my only job, other than a blog here and there, like a post here and there, getting to know some other writers online through NaNoWriMo locally and different things like that. Really, writing was just my job, right? But then when I started self-publishing, and this is true even for people who are traditionally publishing, you start to realize that, oh my gosh, there's a lot more to this job than just writing. There's the marketing, there's the promotions, there's all the social media, there's the blog posts, there's, all these different types of promotions that you could be doing with like cross promotion and box sets and loss leaders. And now this is different than it was even back when I started in 2010. You also have, AMS ads, Facebook ads to learn. You've got to be a newsletter guru. You've got to know all of these things. So when you become an entrepreneur, and whether you're a hybrid author, traditionally published or self-published, it just seems like there's more and more things getting added to our list. So how do you do it all? How do you organize your time? And of course, I'm super lucky that I get to write full time, but this, in terms of managing what time you have, is even more important if you're limited in your time, such as, I have a 6-year-old, so he's gone during the day, but he's home in the evenings, and I've got a lot to do he's in the bath now, so you may actually hear him making noise, and I'm trying to record this video before I have to go help get him to bed. But I'm also expecting a baby in August, and that's going to kind of throw my schedule up for a loop because I'm going to have a baby home all day with me as well. So managing my time becomes extremely important. If you have a full-time job, this is obviously a huge issue for you because you've only got limited time throughout the day when you actually have available time to write, much less do all the marketing and promotion. And, if you're in this, you completely understand exactly what I'm talking about and how it's important to manage your time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just give you a glimpse into how I manage my time as a writer. Some of this might work for you, some of it might not, but sometimes just seeing someone else's process and seeing how it works for them can be valuable. So let's talk about 5 steps to how I organize my time as a writer. So this may sound like something that, why would I need to know this? But this is like the fundamental thing, one of the most important things that helped me to make the shift of really focusing in on where it was the most important to spend my time, which is knowing what I want for my life, like having this overall ideal vision. And that may seem like, well, how does that help you manage your time? That's ridiculous. Like spending all this time thinking about your long-term vision doesn't do anything to help you manage the day-to-day. But if you think that, then I'm telling you, you're missing out on an opportunity, because when I sat down and I really started thinking, what is it I want for my life? Not what do other people expect of me? What do my readers expect of me? What do I need to do to make other people think that I'm successful? Because let's face it, sometimes as humans, our ego gets in the way and we just want other people to look at us and think that we're successful and to think that we're making it, and we don't want anyone to look at us and think that we're failing. So sometimes that can begin to influence our decisions, or at least that's been the case for me. And so I had to step back and say, if I take everybody else off the table and I just look at Sarah and I say, what is it that I want for my life? If I close my eyes and I imagine that ideal vision for the future, what does it look like? And once I started to get a very clear vision of what my ideal life looks like, it started to guide all of my decisions. So every little thing when I was trying to decide, is this important? Is this something I want to do? Should I get onto this new social media platform? I've got this new idea for a series. Should I explore that? Or should I stick to the old, things that I was writing? Should I stick to paranormal or try out this contemporary? Every single question that I had became easier to answer because I knew what direction I was pointed in. So knowing the ideal vision for my life in the long term began to guide my decisions. So that was really the first step I took toward organizing my time, because the truth is, something that's super important that you need to understand is that there just is literally no way that you can get it all done. You cannot be active on every single social media and have hundreds of thousands of followers and be posting Instagram stories and YouTube videos and Facebook stories and a group and a page. You just can't do it it all, not by yourself. And unless you just are independently wealthy and are ready to train an entire team of social media specialists and ad specialists and all of that, in addition to writing your books, you just can't do it all. It's too overwhelming. And if you try to do it all, you're just going to kind of halfway do every tiny little thing. And you're going to end up with a lot of incompleted projects, or like, oh, I've kind of started working on my newsletter, but I don't have that fully in place the way I want it to be. And I tried to play around a little bit with Facebook ads, but I never really found the time to dedicate to it. So you're not going to be making impact on anything. And the reason I know this is because this was my life. I spent several years where it was like I was sort of dipping my toe into everything because I thought I had to do it all. And so when I finally realized that, okay, I surrender, I give up, I cannot do it all, there's just no way it's all getting done, I realized I had to focus in on what was most important. So coming up with a very clear vision of what my ideal future looked like, what kind of writer I want to be, what kind of person I want to be, how much contact I want to have with my fans, how much money I want to make, what kind of lifestyle I want to have in terms of spending time with my family, having another child, all of those things came into play. And once I came up with a very clear vision of my future, that, like I said, began to guide all of my decisions about all those little things. So once I had that guide figured out, the number 2 step that I took was I started planning in 90-day segments. And I've talked about this on my channel before, but if you're new here, you may not be familiar with this. So I plan quarterly. So January, February, March is Q1 of this year. I'm in the 3rd month of this quarter, this 90 days, and it's coming up on where I'm about to do a review of the quarter, take a look at my goals and how everything went, how well I did, and then I'm going to start planning for April, May, and June, which is the 2nd quarter of the year. And I do this, throughout the year, every single quarter, where I review how things went before, I reevaluate my goals and where I'm going, how far I've gotten, on how much progress I've made on my goals. Like, am I making the amount of money I want to make? Do I want to focus more on my contact with my fans? Do I want to focus on my newsletter? And I can take all those things that seem like they're so important and I can say, okay, here's how much time. I can realistically look at how much time I have over the next 90 days. And I can begin to focus in on what's actually going to get done. What are my main projects? What are my main goals? And actually I start with goals, and I set 3 goals every 90 days. And then underneath those goals, I set projects. So if I say my goal is to make $25,000 a month, then I would set projects underneath that goal that are going to help me to make more money. So it could be, usually it involves writing more books, because that's going to be one of the number 1 things that brings in more money. And it also becomes about my promotions and things that are happening, behind the scenes, like with Facebook ads and so forth, that are going to increase my income, like applying for BookBub ads and running other types of advertising for my books. So I would decide what projects I have time for that are going to help me increase my income. And then once I have my projects figured out, I break those projects down into tasks. So my goal spread would look something like, to increase my income to $25,000 per month would be the goal. Then the project might be to publish and promote book 11 of my Shadow Demon saga. And then another project under that might be to implement a new Facebook ads campaign. And I'm just making all of this up as I go. So these are not, they're close to my actual goals and projects. Then I would take the project of implementing a new Facebook ads campaign, and I would break that down into smaller tasks. So I would say, I need to come up, brainstorm ad copy, create new images, talk to friends about what's been working, come up with comparable authors to target on Facebook ads. It might even mean hiring a Facebook ads manager who could help me with my Facebook ads. I've never done that before, but I might be doing that in the future. So if that became a project for me or a task, I would do that. So basically what I'm doing is I'm taking a realistic look at my next 90 days and my schedule, and I'm figuring out what projects are going to help me reach my goals, and then I'm breaking those projects down into tasks. And you can see a little sliver of it here, and I've talked about this extensively on my channel, so you can go looking for some of those videos, and I'll link some of them down for you below. But once I have all of those tasks figured out, I separate those main 3 goals and I give them a color. So you can see right now I've got kind of like blue, green, and pink are my main like business goals. The yellow is my personal goals, so that's kind of a separate thing. But those first three goals are my big ones for my business. And every single task that I plan to complete in the next 90 days goes up on that Kanban board. And throughout the 90 days, I'm moving stuff down into what is called the done column. And if you're interested in more about the Kanban board, like I said, I'll link that below so I don't have to go into it too much here in this video since I've covered it before. Part of the key here is, remember, I started with that vision for my life, and that vision guides all of the decisions that I'm making when it comes to my projects. So the main two things that I consider when I'm setting my goals, projects, and tasks for the quarter is what's a realistic view of how much I can actually get done. So I'm not biting off more than I can chew, because I used to constantly take on too much and I always felt like a failure because nothing was getting done. So when I step back and I become realistic about my time, then it allows me to be successful and to actually complete projects. So at that point, I can go ahead and get everything done that that I have time for in that quarter. And I usually don't clear everything off my board. You can see with only a month left, I'm way behind this time because I had pretty severe morning sickness at the first part of my pregnancy. And that's just how it goes sometimes. Sometimes life gets in the way, but I've still gotten significant things done and I'm getting close to finishing another book. So I'm always moving forward. And that's part of how I focus my time and organize my time. Every day when I come in here, I know exactly what I'm working on, and that is huge. So the third step is that when a quarter begins, I kind of look at my schedule and I do some block scheduling. I haven't ever done a video on like calendar blocking, but there are plenty of videos out there. I will actually link one from Amy Landino where she talks about how she calendar blocks, and this will give you kind of a good idea. But I'll just give you a basic overview of what I do. So if I decide that 9 to noon every day is my writing time, then I would block that off in my planner as this is my writing time from 9 to noon. And I basically schedule my days in big blocks of time, because what I don't want to be doing is being distracted throughout the day and having my attention pulled from one thing to another. So I don't want to say, well, I'm going to be writing and then I write for 30 minutes and then I do a little bit of email and a little bit of advertising and then I switch to, phone call and then I get back to writing, because the more I'm switching, that's called context switching. And the more I switch from one activity to another, the more focus I lose and the more productivity I lose. So hopefully that makes sense, but basically you get more done. It's proven psychologically that you get more done if you focus on a single task for a longer period of time. There's also a book out there by Cal Newport called Deep Work, where he sort of talks about this, like taking away all the distractions and focusing on this one project or tasks for a long period of time. So I block out my schedule in that way, and I try to do things in batches. So I try to write every day, usually in the morning. Sometimes it becomes an evening thing depending on the day. And then my afternoons are blocked off for things like recording videos. And instead of recording just one video at a time, I often will batch my videos and try to do 2 or 3 on a certain day. So this is actually the third video that I've done today. And you might, my son is being kind of loud in the bath, so you might hear him because here I am at 8 o'clock at night and I am still recording. But that's because this was my batch day to do it. And that means that tomorrow I can batch my edits and get things uploaded. And it just overall is more productive for me to spend a 3-hour or 4-hour chunk of time recording, because then I can put my makeup on, I can get my hair done, and then tomorrow I can focus in on the editing. And it's that repetition of that specific task that becomes important to me. So what you could do is you could set aside a block of time for your writing, and then set aside another block of time for your social media. On maybe every Monday, you could schedule out your social media for the entire week instead of taking 5 minutes here and there throughout the week and getting distracted throughout the week. You could also set aside 30 minutes every morning for email and things like that. But the more you begin to set aside specific chunks of time when you can get really deep into the work that you're doing, instead of, doing, like I said, a little bit of this task, a little bit of this one, a little bit of that one. It helps so much with your focus if you can say, okay, this is my 2-hour block and I'm going to work solely on social media on Monday. On Tuesday, during that 2-hour block, I'm going to work on this newsletter project that I have going on. And every Tuesday, that's what I work on. And then every Wednesday, what I work on is, answering my emails and going in and responding to fans' comments. So you could kind of chunk out your work. So instead of doing a little bit every day, you have these very focused, productive periods of time where you're kind of calendar blocking. All right, so the fourth thing that I do that adds to success when I'm organizing my time is that every Sunday I sit down with my planner and I decide what tasks I'm going to tackle for this week. So you remember how I said I had it all figured out at the beginning of the quarter, what I'm going to do? Like I have all my tasks up on the Kanban board. I know what projects I'm working on and that sort of thing. So every Sunday I sit down and I say, okay, I've got this birthday party on Saturday. I've got a meeting on Tuesday. Here's what time I actually have. How many projects or how many tasks can I tackle realistically this week? How many words can I get written, or am I on the editing phase? And I kind of take a look at what I've got going on this week. I also take this time to sort of review how last week went. Am I on track with my goals? How are things going in terms of have I actually increased my income at all this month? Am I on target to clear my Kanban board, or am I behind? And if I'm behind, what can I throw out so that I focus on the most important things? And if you're really interested in seeing the review that I do every week, then that is inside my HB90 planner. That is a custom planner that I've done for writers. I created it myself and it is up on Etsy. And of course, it's a quarterly planner. So it's Q1 is what's up on Etsy right now. And I believe it's about $10 because it's a little bit on sale since we're almost through the quarter. But I also have an undated version that you could just print and use over and over and over. And then the Q2 planner will be going up in the next 2 weeks. So be on the lookout for that. But that planner is what I use, and it's what takes you through the whole review of last week. And then it gives you a chance to, so I'll pop in a little bit of video here where you can see kind of what I do each week. But I have 3 columns, one for each of my tasks or each of my projects, and I decide which tasks I'm going to conquer this week. And then I go into my weekly overview and I schedule those out. Like I'll say, okay, if I'm going to be working on this newsletter project and I'm going to read this book and take notes and work on my reader magnet, then I'm going to schedule out, like I'm going to read the rest of this book on Monday and then I'm going to do the reader magnet on Tuesday. Or if Tuesday is my day to do the entire newsletter project, then I'm going to schedule out what tasks I'm going to get done this Tuesday in relation to that project. Every Sunday, I do my review of the previous week, and then I go in and I decide what tasks I'm going to tackle this week, and I schedule them out according to my calendar blocking or according to my schedule for the week. And that is basically how I organize my time. There is a 5th piece to this, and it's very important and something that should not be overlooked. And the 5th piece is that I also schedule time that I consider me time. And this is stuff for gaming. I play World of Warcraft with my husband. I also have some PS4 games that I play. I spend a lot of time with my son. We read together every night. We go on walks. We live just a couple miles from the beach, so we go out to the beach when the weather is nice, at least a few times a week. I like to go shopping sometimes by myself. Even if I'm just window shopping, I enjoy that, like a trip out to Michael's to go look at washi tape and that sort of thing. Those sorts of things refill my well. And I also will binge watch stuff on Netflix or here on YouTube. But I always make sure that I have time, sometime usually in the evenings for an hour or 2, that is just for me to refill the well. Because I often found that I was pretty much filling up every spare minute of free time with work, because it's so easy to feel like you're not getting enough done because there's just this huge, massive amount of things that we feel like we need to do. So I think that we can feel prone as authors to feel guilty when we're doing something that's just for fun. But don't fall into this trap, because that's exactly how you end up burned out and unable to write. We need life experiences. We need something to refill our joy and focus on joy. We need to spend time with people that we love. We need to spend time doing things that just are just for fun and not for profit and not for work. There's always time to hustle, and sometimes we're on deadlines, but in the mundane day to day, be sure to schedule some time just for you so that you can really relax and sort of exactly what I said, refill the well and get back to work and really focus when it's time to work. So that is basically how I organize my time. I set I have a very clear picture of what I want long-term. I set up my goals, projects, and tasks on a 90-day basis. And like I said, as soon as this quarter is wrapping up, I'm going to already be going through my entire planning process to plan the next quarter and figure out what goals I'm going to tackle, what projects I'm going to tackle in Q2 of the year. Then every Sunday I go in and I look at those task lists and I figure out what I'm going to do this week. And then I do, to the best of my ability, get those things done. And that helps me organize my time. Also, the calendar blocking is pretty huge. If you guys want to see a dedicated video on how I choose theme days and how I do my calendar blocking, please comment below and let me know, because I can do a more dedicated video on that. But today I just wanted to kind of give you an overview. If this sounds like magical to you, the idea of being able to organize your time, walk into your office or your space and know exactly what you're doing every day, to stop feeling so overwhelmed by this mountain of things you need to do and really take control of your time and your emotions when it comes to feeling like you know what you're doing, you know that everything you're doing is moving you forward towards your goals, then I highly encourage you to sign up for my HP90 Bootcamp. This is a class that I developed last year because I had so many people asking me how I was getting so much done. Last year I published 5 books, wrote a 6th book that hasn't been published yet. I started this YouTube channel and put out almost 80 videos. I am raising a 6-year-old, and of course I managed all of those other things. I give a big speech at RWA. So I got a lot done last year. And so a lot of people were asking me, how did you get it all done? And the truth is, I got it all done with record amount of time for myself and feeling happier and more in control of my career than I ever have. And it's really not some magical thing. It's just a matter of taking those steps that I just took you through. And if you're interested in going through that process with my support and having me walk you through exactly how to take control of your career, then sign up for my HP90 Bootcamp. It has just opened. Registration is just opening today, and I'm going to give you guys $50 off the price. So it's normally $199, and you can sign up today for $149. If you click the link down below, I will leave it in the description box. This time, for the first time, I'm also going to be opening up a payment plan for those of you that can't quite swing the $150 at once. So feel free to take advantage of that payment plan as well. This is a 3-day boot camp. Technically, it starts with a live kickoff call on Thursday night, where you're going to get a big 1-hour long pep talk from me on a live video, and then the actual videos will come out late Friday or late Thursday night. So you'll have Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The course will be technically running from March 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. And even if you can't attend the course live, once you purchase it, you will have access to it forever. Some people have not been able to go through the whole amount of videos in 3 days, but it's okay, because once you pay for it, you have access forever. So even if it takes you 2 weeks to go through all of the content, you can go through it over and over again. So I really, really am excited about this course. A lot of people have said already that it has been life-changing for them. And along with the course, you get access to a Facebook group that is just for the alumni of the course. And you're going to get weekly support from me and accountability support from me. And that comes free with the class. Also, you get a free planner, one of my free HP90 digital download planners for Q2. You will get that for free as well. So this course only opens 4 times a year, and I'm not even sure I'm going to open it 4 times this year, because I do have this baby that is coming in August, so I'm not sure if I'll be able to run a September course this year, so we'll just have to see. So maybe only a couple times this year. This is your chance to get in. I would super love to have you if this type of organizing appeals to you and you would like some hands-on support getting your goals set and your life in order. All right, guys, that's it for today. I sincerely hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any of these tips that have resonated with you, or you have questions about the course, feel free to comment down below and I'll try to respond to everyone individually. If you are not subscribed to this channel, I would certainly love to have you subscribed and hit that notification bell so that you will be notified anytime a new video goes up from me. And if you did enjoy this video, I hope that you'll take just a second to hit that thumbs up like button down below, which lets YouTube and other viewers know that you enjoyed this content and that you want to see more of it. Okay, guys, that is it for today, and I will see you this weekend in a new video. Bye.